You've likely spent your whole life hearing that fruit is one of the healthiest things you can eat. But after Triz, the story changes. Some fruits, while still natural, can quietly spike your blood sugar, strain your kidneys, or interfere with medications meant to protect your heart. It's not about good or bad, it's about what works best for an aging body. In the next few minutes, I want to gently walk you through 3 fruits that deserve a permanent place in your daily routine, and 3 others that may be silently undermining your strength. One bite at a time. This isn't about fear, it's about clarity. New studies from institutions like Harvard, the Mayo Clinic, and the National Institutes of Health are showing that not all fruits age as gracefully as we do, especially when paired with common medications or health conditions. So if your goal is to protect your memory, maintain your balance, and keep walking tall through your 80s and 90s, then the fruits you choose now matter more than ever. Let's take a closer look at what to keep and what to reconsider on your plate. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. The 3 fruits every senior should eat daily. 1. Berries. The brain and heart defender. When we picture fruit, most of us think of something sweet, comforting, and nourishing, something nature gave us to enjoy without worry. But the truth is, after 60, some fruits serve our bodies far better than others. And few are as consistently healing, as protective, as quietly powerful as berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. They may be small in size, but what they do inside the body is profound. For seniors, these aren't just pleasant snacks. They're daily allies for the heart, the brain, and the aging nervous system. Berries are rich in compounds called anthocyanins and flavonoids, natural antioxidants that don't just sit quietly in your bloodstream. They go to work. They reduce inflammation. They neutralize oxidative stress, one of the biggest drivers of age-related decline. And most impressively, they help keep the brain sharp. Large-scale studies, including those published by Harvard, have shown that older adults who eat berries at least twice a week can slow their cognitive decline significantly, in some cases by the equivalent of 2.5 years. That might sound abstract until you realize what that time really means. More mornings waking up clear-minded, more walks outside without forgetting why you came out, more full conversations with your loved ones, not just nodding along, but being truly present. One of my patients, a gentleman named Walter Hayes, now 81, came to me last year concerned about a slow, creeping fog that had begun settling over his memory. He wasn't forgetting names, but words sometimes escaped him. He'd get halfway through a sentence and lose his place. His labs looked normal, but something had changed. Walter had always been active gardening, woodwork, helping with the grandkids, but lately he said he felt dull. Not depressed, just not himself. We reviewed his medications and adjusted a few routines, but I suggested something simple. He could start immediately a daily dose of berries, half a cup of blueberries with breakfast, maybe some strawberries in the afternoon. It wasn't long before Walter returned, this time with more energy in his step and more ease in his voice. His wife told me that he was more engaged, more responsive, even cracking jokes at dinner again. The change wasn't dramatic, but it was real. Walter's eyes had that glint again, and his hands were back in the soil, trimming hedges and checking tomato vines. Berries don't just help the brain. They protect the tiny blood vessels that keep your heart beating steadily and your blood pressure in check. Their natural compounds support vascular health and circulation, two areas that decline steadily with age. And because they're low on the glycemic index, berries won't spike your blood sugar. That's especially important for seniors managing insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. They offer sweetness without the crash, nourishment without the risk. I often recommend frozen berries, especially when fresh ones are out of season. Freezing preserves most of their nutrients, so there's no need to worry about losing the benefits. Whether you stir them into oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or just eat them by the spoonful, what matters is consistency. The key is not eating them once, but making them part of your rhythm, part of how you care for your heart, your memory, and your future. These small fruits deliver strength, clarity, and protection in every bite. They're a daily choice that says, I want to keep showing up in body, in mind, in spirit, and the best part, it's not complicated. There's no learning curve. Just a bowl, a spoon, and the quiet power of nature doing what it was always meant to do. But while berries work silently to support the heart and mind, there's another fruit round. Smooth, often overlooked, that plays a powerful role in digestion, immune function, and even cholesterol balance. And chances are, it's sitting in your fruit bowl right now. Let's take a closer look. 2. Apples. The gut and immune booster. Apples have been with us for as long as most of us can remember. They're woven into our routines and our stories handed to us by a parent, packed in lunchboxes, sliced and served with a warm smile. But what many older adults don't realize is that this familiar fruit holds a quiet strength, one that works deeply and consistently to support our aging bodies, especially the gut, immune system, and cardiovascular health. Inside every crisp bite is something called pectin, a type of soluble fiber that plays a vital role in senior health as we age. Digestion doesn't always move the way it used to. The gut lining thins, friendly bacteria fade, and things like constipation become a more regular part of daily life. Pectin helps to gently clear the digestive tract. It feeds the good bacteria in the gut, supports smoother, more regular bowel movements, and lays the foundation for stronger immunity. And that's more important than most people realize, because more than 70% of your immune system lives right there in your gut. A healthier gut doesn't just help digestion, it helps your whole system stay calm, alert, and protected. Apples also carry something powerful in their skin, a compound called quercetin. This natural antioxidant doesn't just float through the bloodstream, it gets to work protecting cells, reducing inflammation, and supporting circulation. For seniors, managing high blood pressure, fragile blood vessels, or stiff arteries. These gentle actions can add up to real changes in how your body feels. Quercetin also acts like a natural antihistamine, helping calm seasonal allergies and soothing inflammatory responses throughout the body. One of the people who reminded me of just how effective this simple fruit can be was a woman named Margaret Sinclair. Margaret is 79 and lives in a quiet neighborhood not far from the coast. She came into the clinic a while back, complaining of sluggish digestion and feeling slowed down. As she put it, hair vitals were stable, but her energy was dipping, and her sleep was beginning to suffer. When we reviewed her eating habits, one thing stood out. Her fiber intake had quietly dwindled over time. We kept her main meals the same, but I suggested adding just one apple a day, nothing drastic. One medium apple with the skin on, either chopped into her morning cereal or sliced up with a bit of nut butter in the late afternoon. Margaret returned about 8 weeks later. Her digestion had settled. She said she felt lighter and clearer, not in some dramatic way, just more comfortable in her body. And interestingly, her blood pressure readings had improved slightly too. It's funny, she told me. I've eaten apples all my life, but I never thought of them as doing anything for me. I just liked them, and that's exactly the beauty of it. Apples are modest, steady, and dependable. Not too sweet, easy to prepare, and full of natural compounds that support the systems that matter most as we age. When possible, organic is the better option. Apples tend to hold on to more pesticide residue than other fruits, so a cleaner version is always preferable, especially when you're eating the skin, which is where so much of the goodness lives. Apples won't make headlines. They don't need to. What they offer is quiet, steady support for the parts of our body that often go neglected. And just when you think a simple fruit like that has done its job, the next one on this list steps in soft, green, and surprisingly effective at helping seniors fall asleep faster and rest more deeply through the night. Let's take a closer look. 3. Kiwi. The sleep and digestion helper. Kiwi isn't usually the first fruit people reach for. It's small, tucked in the corner of the produce section, often passed over for more familiar choices like apples or bananas. But for seniors, especially those struggling with sleep or digestion, this fuzzy green fruit may be one of the most helpful additions to a daily routine. Hidden beneath its thin skin is a dense supply of nutrients and compounds that work in quiet but powerful ways, supporting the body where it needs it most in later years. One of the standout benefits of kiwi is its effect on sleep. It's naturally rich in serotonin-supporting compounds, which help regulate the body's circadian rhythm. These aren't stimulants or sedatives. They're natural messengers that promote relaxation and help signal the brain when it's time to rest. In a clinical study conducted in Taiwan, adults over 60 who ate 2 kiwis about an hour before bedtime began falling asleep faster, staying asleep longer, and waking up more refreshed, all within just 4 weeks. No pills, no drowsiness the next morning, just steady, restful sleep, the kind so many seniors go without night after night. Kiwi also delivers a high dose of vitamin C, more than oranges. In fact, that makes it a valuable support for the immune system, especially in older adults whose natural defenses may have weakened over time. But the benefits don't stop there. Kiwi contains a unique enzyme called actinidin, which helps break down proteins in the digestive system. For seniors who often feel bloated after meals, or who struggle with heavy digestion in the evening, this little fruit can make a noticeable difference. And then there's the fiber. Kiwi provides both soluble and insoluble fiber, which helps regulate bowel movements and reduce constipation, a topic not often talked about, yet it affects nearly half of all older adults. Gentle on the stomach, easy on blood sugar, and low in calories. Kiwi is one of those rare foods that brings comfort without any hidden cost. I think back to Mr. Thomas Reid, age 77, a former mail carrier from Kentucky, when he first came to see me last December, and he was dealing with two things: poor sleep and sluggish digestion. He described his nights as restless, waking up multiple times and lying awake for hours. His mornings were slow. His energy dulled, and meals often left him feeling heavy and uncomfortable. We discussed a few options, but what he agreed to try first was simple adding a kiwi about an hour before bedtime, eaten fresh with a spoon, skin and all. 2 weeks later, he returned for a follow-up. His face was lighter. He said the changes surprised him. He was sleeping through the night again, not perfectly, but better than he had in months. His digestion had improved. No more bloating after dinner. His energy was steadier during the day. Who knew something so small could do all that, he said with a smile. That's the beauty of kiwi. No drama. No side effects, just quiet. To steady support for the systems we rely on as we age. You can enjoy it sliced into yogurt, blended into a smoothie, or simply eaten on its own. However you take it, what matters is consistency. The key is making it part of your nightly rhythm, part of how you care for yourself with intention. But while some fruits work gently in your favor, others may be quietly pushing you in the wrong direction, spiking your blood sugar, interfering with medications, or leaving you feeling more tired than before. It's time now to shift our attention. Let's look at the 3 fruits that seniors should consider limiting or avoiding, and the reasons why may be more surprising than you expect. The 3 fruits seniors should limit or avoid. 1. Pineapple, the blood sugar spiker that pretends to be healthy. Pineapple often looks like the perfect fruit, bright, golden, juicy, and just sweet enough to feel like a treat without the guilt. It reminds many of summer afternoons or fruit salad at family gatherings, but beneath that tropical flavor lies a reality many seniors never hear about. For those over 60, pineapple may be one of the most misleading choices in the produce aisle. While it seems healthy, the way it behaves in an aging body can quietly cause serious harm. The issue starts with sugar. Pineapple is naturally high in it, close to 16 grams per cup, but offers almost no fiber to slow that sugar down. For someone younger, with a fast metabolism and a strong insulin response, the body might handle that surge more easily. But for seniors, especially anyone managing diabetes, high blood pressure, or cardiovascular issues, this kind of sugar load hits hard and fast. The glucose spike is rapid, followed by a drop that can leave you shaky, weak, foggy, or deeply fatigued. And those effects aren't just temporary discomfort. Over time, repeated spikes like that chip away at your blood vessels, cloud your thinking, and make your heart work harder than it should. I remember a patient of mine, Miss Clara Morrison, age 79, a retired teacher living on her own. She came in complaining of afternoon fatigue, mild headaches, and occasional blurred vision She was managing type 2 diabetes and believed her diet was under control. When we looked closer at her food journal, we found that she had developed a habit of eating a bowl of fresh pineapple as a late-night snack. It feels light, she said, better than cookies. But her glucose numbers were telling a different story. Spikes over 200 after dinner, followed by crashes overnight that were interfering with her sleep and energy. We swapped the pineapple for a handful of raspberries and a few almonds. Within 3 weeks, her numbers leveled out, and she told me she felt more clear-headed in the mornings than she had in months. But the danger with pineapple doesn't stop at sugar. It also contains bromelain, a natural enzyme that can interact with certain medications. Specifically, it may increase the effects of blood thinners medications like warfarin or aspirin, which are commonly prescribed to seniors with heart conditions. In some people, this can raise the risk of bruising, internal bleeding, or problems with clotting. And because bromelain is naturally occurring, many people don't realize it needs to be monitored, just like any other compound in their diet. The harm often builds quietly, not in a dramatic collapse, but in small ways, a drop in energy here, a dizzy spell there, a harder time focusing, maybe even a fall or a misstep. It's the kind of erosion that steals your strength slowly without calling attention to itself, until one day, your independence feels harder to hold on to than it should. So, while pineapple might still look beautiful on the plate, it may not be worth the price it asks from an aging body. The sugar, the medication risks, the quiet wear and tear on systems that have already worked hard for decades. It's a fruit that pretends to help, even as it drains your energy, clarity, and peace of mind. And if pineapple, with its sunny appearance and sweet taste, can cause this much strain behind the scenes, imagine what's going on with the fruit. Many seniors snack on by the handful, believing it to be harmless. What's next may be even more surprising. Let's take a closer look. 2. Grapes. The sugar bomb in disguise. At first glance, grapes seem innocent, even wholesome. They're soft, bite-sized, and easy to eat, making them a go-to snack for many older adults. But the truth is, for those in their 60s and beyond, grapes can be surprisingly problematic. Behind their smooth skin and refreshing sweetness lies a concentrated source of fructose, a natural sugar that's far more potent than it appears. And it's not just about sugar content. It's about how that sugar behaves in the senior body, especially when circulation, kidney function, and insulin sensitivity are no longer what they used to be. Grapes are almost entirely sugar and water, with very little fiber or fat to slow absorption. This means that just a small bowl, what feels like a harmless handful, can flood your bloodstream with sugar, spiking blood glucose and triggering insulin responses that your body may struggle to keep up with. For seniors, managing type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, or even mild insulin resistance, these spikes can contribute to nerve damage, fatigue, and even brain fog. But there's another layer to the problem. When fructose from grapes reaches the liver, it's processed differently than other sugars. In older adults, especially those with reduced liver or kidney function, that fructose can turn into uric acid, the very substance responsible for triggering gout. And gout is no small matter, It's a painful inflammatory condition that often shows up in the toes, ankles, and knees areas already vulnerable with age. I think of Mr. Harold Lane, 80 years old, who came to me after waking up several nights in a row with sharp pain in his big toe. His foot would swell, and the slightest pressure made walking unbearable. He assumed it was arthritis, but after some tests and a closer look at his habits, we found that he had been snacking on red grapes several times a day during television time, with breakfast, even late at night. Once we replaced grapes with a small serving of low-fructose fruit and made a few other changes, the flare-up stopped within a month. His sleep returned, and so did his mobility, beyond gout. The high fructose content in grapes also feeds inflammation in the body. Seniors already dealing with joint pain, stiffness, or cardiovascular issues may find that grapes silently add to the burden. You won't necessarily feel it immediately. No dramatic symptoms, just a little more swelling in the ankles, a little more ache in the knees, a little less stability when standing or walking. The problem is how easy it is to overeat them. Grapes are sweet, soft, and feel light. You don't need a large portion to get a large sugar hit. And because they're so convenient, many people don't think twice about popping them into their mouth by the dozen. But your body notices in your blood sugar levels, in your joints. In the quiet ways, energy drains faster than it should. Grapes aren't poison, but for seniors trying to manage inflammation, preserve joint health, and protect circulation, they can quietly work against your efforts. The cost isn't always visible, but it adds up in steps missed, in sleep interrupted, in moments dulled by pain or fatigue. And if these small fruits can have such an outsized effect, the next one might be even more surprising, because it's something we associate with hydration, freshness, and summertime ease, but for seniors. It may be silently overloading your system and draining your strength from the inside out. Let's keep going. 3. Bananas. The hidden danger in your morning routine. Bananas have long been seen as one of the most dependable breakfast choices out there. They're easy to chew, soft on aging teeth, and filled with potassium, a mineral most of us were told we need more of as we get older. But for many seniors, that morning banana isn't doing what they think it is. In fact, for those managing heart conditions, diabetes, or kidney problems, this seemingly harmless fruit may be quietly pushing the body in the wrong direction. It doesn't happen with fanfare or obvious symptoms. It builds slowly in the blood, in the nerves, in the organs where it begins to take its toll without you even knowing it. The problem starts with sugar. A medium banana contains about 27 grams of carbohydrates, with roughly 14 grams of that as sugar. It offers very little fiber to slow the absorption. That means when you eat a banana, especially first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, the sugar enters your bloodstream quickly, causing a sudden spike in glucose levels. For a healthy young person, this might not mean much, but for an older adult, especially one with prediabetes, insulin resistance, or type 2 diabetes, that spike and the crash that follows can be damaging. It leads to fatigue, cloudy thinking, and cravings that make healthy eating harder to maintain throughout the day. Over time, those repeated glucose swings contribute to nerve damage, vision changes, and accelerated cognitive decline, all while the fruit that's doing it hides behind a healthy reputation. But the concerns with bananas don't end with sugar. They're also extremely high in potassium, a nutrient the body needs, but only in the right amount. For seniors who take certain medications like ACE inhibitors or potassium-sparing diuretics, both common in people with high blood pressure or heart failure, the added potassium from a banana can push your levels too high. This condition, called hyperkalemia, can be dangerous. When potassium builds up in the blood, it interferes with heart rhythm and stresses the kidneys. The symptoms can come on without warning: muscle weakness, a fluttering heartbeat, even chest pain. If left unchecked, it can lead to serious, even life-threatening complications. I'll never forget one of my longtime patients, Mrs. Beatrice Langley. Bosher sit. She was active, sharp, and always careful about what she ate. Every morning she had a bowl of cereal, a cup of tea, and a banana sliced right on top. It was part of her routine, comforting, familiar. And she thought, healthy, but over several months, she began noticing changes: shortness of breath, fatigue that lasted all day, and a few strange moments of heart fluttering. We ran her labs. Her potassium was elevated, and her blood sugar after breakfast was spiking more than expected. The combination of her blood pressure medication and daily banana was quietly disrupting her balance. We made a few simple changes. She started rotating in lower potassium fruits, cut back the banana to once a week, and began eating a bit of protein alongside her carbs. The difference was noticeable within a few weeks. Her energy returned. Her heart rate stabilized. And she told me, I didn't realize something I'd trusted for so long could be the very thing causing the trouble. That's the hard part. Bananas have earned our trust. They've been called nature's energy bar, praised for decades in nutrition circles. But the truth is, even healthy foods can stop working in our favor as we age. Our bodies change. Our medications shift how we process nutrients. What once gave us strength may now be asking too much of the systems we're trying to protect. So, while a banana every now and then isn't the end of the world, making it a daily habit, especially if you're on medication or managing a chronic condition, can slowly take more than it gives. And the cost isn't always something you can feel right away. It shows up in smaller steps, longer naps, more effort to get through the day, but there is good news. When you understand what your body needs now, not what it needed 30 years ago, you can start choosing fruits that nourish instead of challenge your system. You can still enjoy sweetness, still enjoy flavor, but with options that support your energy, your heart, and your clarity. What comes next isn't about giving up fruit. It's about giving your body the right kind of help. Let's bring everything together, because the fruit you choose each day can either restore your vitality or quietly wear it down. And every senior deserves to know the difference. At this stage of life, the decisions we make around food matter more than ever. Our bodies change with age, digestion slows. Blood sugar becomes harder to manage, and the space for nutritional mistakes becomes smaller. Fruit has always been seen as something wholesome, a symbol of health, and in many ways, it still is. But not all fruits support the aging body in the same way. That's why what we choose to eat each day has a lasting effect on how we feel. I think and move through the world by leaning into fruits like berries, apples, and kiwi. You're giving your body the kind of support it truly needs. These aren't just refreshing snacks. They actively protect your heart, sharpen your memory, ease digestion, and help you rest better at night. They're gentle, nourishing, and in tune with the needs of an older system. On the other hand, stepping back from fruits like pineapple, grapes, and bananas isn't about restriction, it's about protecting your body from quiet risks. Hidden sugars, medication interactions, and sudden blood pressure shifts can take more from you than they give. In my years working with seniors, the ones who stay strong and independent aren't perfect. They're thoughtful. They make small changes. They stay curious and adjust when needed. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Just start by looking at your fruit bowl with new eyes, not with habit, but with care. Because in this season of life, every bite should help you feel more alive. And with a few mindful choices, that's exactly what it can do. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with one. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching. And here's to living life on your own terms.